Alright guys, so we finna get into oblique drawings. Like we did the optometric view ones, we're gonna do oblique drawings. First of all, you wanna clean your station off. Clean your station off as you know it, as you see it. Let me get in there. There you go. Oops. There we go again. Oops, I did it again. Alright. Clean your station off. Always have one of these bad boys good and handy. The painter's brush. Alright, once again, you just need a pencil, either or, some kind of Sharpie, straight edge. You don't need a protractor, but you can use a protractor just to check your work. Alright, first and foremost, what we're going to do is we're going to take our paper and fold it like a hamburger. Hamburger, hamburger. Again, this paper comes in the mail, man. It's a strap piece of paper. Just find it. You just fold it. Don't throw it out. Look on the back side of it. When you start your business, it'll come into you like they're going to throw a lot of paper at you. Instead of you going out and buy it, just use the paper that's already existing to give you freedom. Again, we're doing sustainability, guys. Hamburger again. Fold it again. So you're going to fold it a third time. And one more hamburger. Again, this is the way we are being sustainable in Hawaii. We are not using up trees, burning down trees, or any of the sort. So if you can find a way to be sustainability in your company, your lifestyle, your economy, everything changes, man. Money flow happens because you're finding ways to be sustainable. All right, open this thing up. And you have the box you need, 8 boxes. Then you'll bring your straight edge, if you have it, or your ruler, just to find the center of it to give you that first line you're creating your origin. Take your time. There's no rush in this. Line going down, there you go. And go ahead and establish your lines going across. Establish your line going across. Establish your line going across. So you have equal parts all the way across. All right, so we got that established. And what we want to do now at this point is put in what we know already. So we're doing oblique drawing. So on your left side over here, put oblique. .45 degrees. Your scale again is going to be 1/4 inch. Equals inch and a half, a half an inch. So again, every half inch we move, it's gonna be 1/4 inch. Every 1/4 inch we move, it's gonna be a half an inch. So when we do that, we know every time we move 1/4 inch, we move in a half an inch. So keep that in mind. This is what our rule of thumb right now for this particular drawing. And it's changed. Your scale's gonna change throughout our drawings. We're gonna just use, this is the lowest I'm gonna take this is 1/4 inch equals a half. We're gonna do this about another time, but if you can do this, man, you can do everything else. It could be a half inch equals 1 foot. I explain in other videos how that works. But we're bringing it down to this point just to get everything in this box. We're using 1/4 inch grid. Our drawing is gonna be a 1/4 inch grid, so we can get everything in this box. What else I didn't tell you guys? Let's just begin. All right, so rule of thumb for this one, to get a 45 degree angle, it has to be same side. So if this is the same side here, down here, same side over here, and then you go back to the 45. We call it 3-4-5 method. But just the rule of thumb to get a 45, dude, it's got to be equal sides. So in this case, our number is going to be a half inch and a half, an inch and a half. It's going to give us a 45 degree angle. All right. So, and there's some numbers in there that you guys don't have. It's some numbers you don't have. So I'm going to put in there for you. So what I'm going to do is put these numbers in there for you and give you some numbers that you need to do your drawings. All right, let me do that. All right, so our box, just show you what we're doing now. We're gonna draw this diagram right here. This whole oblique drawings, all these drawings right here. We're gonna do that on a 45-degree angle. First thing I tell you guys, you gotta establish your 180 and your 90. So this is our 180, and we're gonna make a 90 going up to create our 45-degree angle off that. All right, so in this case, it didn't give you any numbers. So like I did on the optometric one, I'm gonna do an oblique as well. I'm gonna give you some numbers. And our number is gonna be 3.5 from the bottom. So you're gonna go from the origin over 3.5. Let's do that right now. I'm doing a 1/4 inch scale. I'm gonna use my ruler pretty much throughout because I realize some students says, Mr. Warren, when you use the architecture ruler, it kind of throws me off. So I'm gonna just stick to just this. And I will occasionally drop in here with this occasionally, but most of the time I'll use this. So again, to mark out your quarters, we already know. I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. What you wanna do is come over here off the line, starting on 0. So 4 is my new 0, but I'm gonna turn my paper upside down because again, it helps me put it on the line as I want it. I don't wanna be floating out there with my measurements. So I'm gonna use that line. I use my 180 as my straight edge for my ruler to keep me in line. All right, so 4, come over 3, going back quarters now. So every quarter is a 1/2 inch. So I'm gonna skip a couple of numbers because you should just count quarters. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's an inch. This is 5. It's 2 inches. 2.5. 3. 3.5. Mark that. Now we know we're gonna be our front box is gonna be 3.5, but we need to go 1.5 inches more to do our 45-degree angle. Because off the diagram, as it showed you, it goes at a 45-degree angle from this point that way. Well, establish that, we got to create our 90-degree angle. So from here, it's 0 again. That's a 1/2 inch. That's an inch. This is 1.5 inches. Now, whatever we do on the bottom, we must do at top. So turn this thing around now and do at the top, same thing. Establish your 3.5. So again, inch, 2 inches, 2.5, 3, 3.5. And then go back to 0 and go 1.5 inches over. We got 1.5 inches, 3, we want 3.5 inches. Then we want 1.5 inches from here, 3.5, 1.5 inches. All right, so go ahead and connect those lines. Again, you want to split that line. You can catch those two lines. Light lines, guys, at this point. You want to keep these lines light. So you got a heavy hand, just practice being lighter by like lifting the hand up a little bit. Because these lines are going to be erasing as we go out through the drawings. All right, so just a recap, 3.5, 1.5 inches, same thing up top. So whatever we do at the bottom, let's do at top. And then from here, on this 3.5 mark, you're gonna go, no, from here you're gonna go up 1.5 inches. Then you're gonna connect this line to go through to get your 45-degree angle. So again, I'm gonna use this protractor. It marks out the quarters a little quicker, but you can use your ruler. Same thing, it doesn't matter. And put the tick marks on there for this example. So put the tick marks there. Just for the reference point. Just do it for the reference on the first up here, do it. But when you go farther into it, you don't have to anymore because you already know what you stepped off already. So you wouldn't have to worry about it. So 1/2 inch, 1.5 inches. All right, now you're gonna bust a line right, you're gonna cut right through this origin, through here, all the way through here. I'm gonna zoom in on this. Just to show you that. Use your straight edge or your ruler, and you're going right through the two. Just like that. And draw your line right through there. Let the camera adjust a little bit. And at this point, you can check it with the protractor. But if you know what I'm telling you right now, the inch and a half is that. And there you go. Right on it. All right. So by using it as a rule of thumb, you know already that's a 45-degree angle. And you'll do that every time. This can be whatever. Once you establish a 45-degree angle, if your line is, when you start establishing this, off that line, you're going to draw off whatever. It may be 3, 4, 5 inches long. But once you're on that 45, measuring from that origin this way, you're going to be on whatever. That building would always be on that origin, going this way on a 45-degree angle. So it might be 7 feet long, maybe 8 feet long line, whatever. That's the end of your building. That's the start of your building, and the side of your building, going that way on an angle. So that's remember. At this point, guys, I want you to put in 45-degree angles in there so you know that's a 45-degree angle. Just for a reference. And up here, you want to put 3.5 right here. So from here to here is 3.5. And you know from here to here is 1.5 inches, so put 1.5 inches there as well, indicating that you moved over 1.5 inches, up 1.5 inches. All right, so let's move everything we did here down to here, and I'm also going to fill in some information that you guys need to start drawing like we did last time. So I'm actually going to transfer. Let's write down what we need to put over here first, and then we'll worry about this in a second. All right, so I'm going to put this in a marker because I know last time you couldn't see it. Something had a confusion with it. So F is for front view. T is for top view. R is for right view. D is for depth. H is for height. And W is for width. And just to fill in these numbers now, D is 2. H is 3.5. And W is 3.5. All right. Let me zoom in right quick, just trying to give you what's going on. That's too far. Let me zoom out a little bit. There you go. That's what you're dealing with. And we'll fall back and do all this with the marker later. At this point, I just want to get you guys going. All right, so over here, we're going to bring what we did here down to here and start establishing the same concept. So bring that 3.5 down, the 1.5 inches. You already got this benchmark, so all you got to do is focus on this right here. And then you can just transfer it, just connect the two lines. Because you did it, this is now your top, and this is your bottom. But again, I'll turn my paper around this way, lay my stuff out, and then I just turn it back around and connect it. And put the 45 in there as well. I know some of you guys look like this, like what? All right, so come down here, again, 0, inch, 2 inches, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Move that to the 0, inch, 1.5 inches. There you go. Turn it back around. Take my straight edge. Let's free Willy. It's round. This is a blue well, so this is like, I don't know. I haven't given a name yet. You guys want to give a name? Let me know. Bring your line down lightly. Same thing on this one. Just split the two. Come down lightly. Bow. Now go ahead up 1.5 inches up. Again, you see me burning it, so I put it on the 4. In construction, they might call it burn an inch, but I'm burning more than that. Right now, I just know every time I go to 4, it's my new 0. The increments are always going to be the same, no matter where I go. All right. Come through here. Go 1.5 inches. Draw that line out. And it's okay to check it sometimes too. So it's okay to check your, see if you're on a 45. Yep, every time. 45, right on the head. There you go. But it's saying, so you don't need a protractor. It's just literally just know basic math. And at this point, we're gonna start taking these numbers. Let me zoom out. Taking these numbers now apply it to over here to what we need. So first thing I want to say again, we always start what we know. Again, you establish your 180, you start with your 90, you start with your angle, and then you start filling in what you can, what you know. So let's go ahead and establish our height, which is 3.5. So 3.5 this way, 3.5 up this way, 3.5 this way. We're gonna create that box. So you gotta capture everything in there. We're gonna capture everything in this box. And so we're gonna do that by doing 3.5 and 3.5 all the way around. And then we'll fall back and put the 2 in there in a second. So each line, each 3 lines, you're gonna create the 3.5 mark. 1, 2, 3.5. One, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3. Oop. Got too carried away. It's 1 inch, 2 inch, 3.5. Let me go back and check that one. 1, 2, 3.5. Yep. 1, 2, 3.5. Again, all I'm going, guys, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. That's a half. I know from there it's a half inch, inch and a half, 2, 2.5, 3, 3.5. Now connect those boxes. I told you in this class, man, we're just gonna use me 1/2 inch, pretty much everything throughout this whole entire class. Run that line kind of long. Same thing here, run this line through here. Make sure you take the time out to go through the origin. There you go. So your box now, you have a 3.5, 3.5, 3.5 box on a 30-degree angle, just like the diagram shows here. Again, they pick their own number, so we picking our own number. So we're gonna just say this way, it's 3.5 this way, 3.5 going up, and that's going to be, we have also 3.5 going on this back line here, will be created by going our 45-degree angle. So this is a 45-degree angle, bow, 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 on all 3 sides. All right, so we established our front, pretty much already established our front by doing that. All right, so now we gotta look at our, we want to create, let's go ahead and do a number. We're gonna start our right side, our depth. So all right, so come over here 2 inches, come up here 2 inches, and then draw that line down. You're gonna be really close to this edge over here. So you gotta get to make sure you have accuracy in there. Where we're at. Okay, so go 2 inches. Again, put that on the 0. Line it up that way. 2 inches is really, so this is 1, this is 2, right up on it. You're gonna be about a 1/16 off. Same thing here. Put it right on that dot. 2 inches on a 45-degree angle. Gonna be super close. And draw that line straight down. Run it up kind of long and kind of down a little bit. All right, that's your 2 inch mark. So we got this established, we got this established. Oh, I look kind of off right there. 1, 2, 3.5. 1, 2, 3.5. Kind of fat. All right. Now we got to establish this back part right here. We got to get this back part over here. And so that 1.5 inch thing comes back in play to get this back corner over here. So you're going to do the same thing you did up top down here. So 1.5 inches, right? So I want to say this. Come over here. I don't like the way my line looking right now. Hold on. 1, 2 1.5 inches. I'm just gonna adjust this line right quick. There we go. There. All right. Look better. All right, so again, 1.5 inches down here, 1.5 inches up here. Draw that line, imaginary line up here, and then we're gonna troll up that line 1.5 inches as well to get our 3-4-5 method. I mean, when I say 3-4-5 method, or you can just say the 1.5 inch mark, 1.5 inches. So what do we do at the bottom? 1.5 inches. Put a slash mark right there. 1.5 inches, and don't make it heavy again because you're gonna erase that line. It's just a line. It's a benchmark. You gotta create benchmarks to get what you need. 1.5 inches. Now draw that line up, and again, it's a light line, guys, not a heavy line. This line gonna go away pretty soon. It's a temporary line there for real. And then you wanna come up on this 1.5 inches, which are pretty much right on the tip of my, and then I'm gonna go back here to create my back corner piece. Splitting those circles, blending this line here. Going right through that origin. All right, so let me zoom in real quick to show you what I just did. I came up over 1.5 inches, went over 1.5 inches. I measured up 1.5 inches. And then I connect my line to go through my origin to create this, to get that back point, which is basically this point right here. This right here. All right, so zoom up. Now what you want to do is leave that line right there for right now. We're going to erase it pretty soon. Let's keep that benchmark there. So we got this. Now we got to establish these two right here in the back. So we already got it already because if this is our point here, this is our point here. Now we just connect these 2 points to get our box, our top. And you want to go right through your 2 lines. And there you go. That's your top box. And what you want to do is erase this line now. Partial of that line, because I'm actually going to keep that in there as a bench reference. I'm actually gonna make this line a hidden line, so you can make that line just put choppy. All right, I'll show you what a hidden line look like. Oops, got my earbud. I'm gonna put a light line going up and down on this. Just to show you how we create it. I keep these lines in there on this particular one, but I won't do this on the second part down here. So just step by step. So I just want to show you. Put 45 in there. So you know this is your 45 that was created by going that measurement to get this point back here. That's how we got this back point. So this is a benchmark. This is a reference paper for you right here. This is what this is, a reference paper. Now you can erase this line here, as you don't need it because it's already established up here. But this is your box. This is your 3.5 by 3.5 by, 3.5 by 3.5 by 3.5 is your front, all the way around, all 4 sides. But this box is 2 inches by 2 inches by 2.5 by 2.5. I mean by 3.5, 3.5, 2 inches, 2 inches, which is this, our measurements here. Whoa. Sorry for the interruption. All right. All right. So let me zoom out. Now, let's just do this. Let's go ahead and fill in some stuff we need to fill in so we can have it for the future. So erase lines you don't need, which is this right here. You see I draw it kind of heavy. Now it still is there. Anyway, so you can darken that box up a little bit so you can see your lines, your box. Because that is the box you got to create right there. That's just the box temporary. It's the box. This is your reference box, so you can go back and jog your memory and like, oh, okay, I did this. This is why I did this, and so on and so on. Again, this is your also on their origin. We use that origin, so you got to darken that origin. All right, so that's the box right there. I'm gonna darken this box up with a color. I think I'll use orange this time. Again, these are your key points to where it just happened to get what we established. And if I'm coloring it, you guys got to color it as well. So these are lines this thing got to be colored in. So I use orange for that, and I'm gonna use blue to outline the whole box. Take your time when you're outlining. You can use your straight edge. So this is just to show you where the box is at. And we're coming right down this line here, crossing into this one, and we'll come across here. And same thing down here. You're gonna cross here. All right, that's our box. And this little imaginary line, when we stand out as well, put that in, I think I'll use red for that. Or should I use orange? I'll try orange. These are called hidden lines. This is what you don't see, but this is like, that line is not there, but it gives you indication where it started from. And that's our 1.5 inch mark. This is how we got our 45-degree angle. So I'm actually gonna write 1.5 inch in there so you know for the future. That's from here to here. And then from there, you can understand again, that's how we got this 45 here, 1.5 inch. That's what this mark is, to get that point. So we do things like that right now on this paper, so you can have it for your future reference. But when you're out there in the field, you're not gonna put an 1.5 inch in there. You don't have to. You don't know. You just tell them, hey, well, you can. I'm not saying you can't, but more detailed stuff you put in, the more complicated it becomes sometimes. So it's best to leave some things out. All right. And that's the box right there. You can erase stuff you don't need. What else? Oh, we got to put our, let's do this. We also got to start establishing, let's just use orange. Put in D, H, and everything else in there, right? So this is your D. This is your H. That's your H. Also put in H here. We're just establishing stuff now, so we know what we're doing. This is your W. That's your W. And this is your D back here. So you know what you did. Using these numbers, we have plugged in these numbers. You plugged in these numbers here, so you know what you're doing. Again, everything was just plugged in to show you guys what you did, how to do it. So you know, looking at D is D, connect D to D, H to H. You know how far you went up, how wide your box is. You know all this stuff now. That's what we're doing that for. All right, so I'm gonna leave that there. Let me see if anything else we got to put in there. Nope, that's about it. All right, let me write this in as well. 3.5, 45. Tick mark, tick mark, tick mark, 1.5 inches. And your line going through there. I'll do that right now. I'll try yellow or green. Just establish what we're doing. All right. So now we're going to do this. We got this box completed. Now we're going to bring this down to this box. We're not going to put W, not going to put 45s in there, none of that. We're going to establish our top view, right view, front, top, right. So we're going to start doing that now. I'm going to give you some numbers. The way I'm going to give you numbers of making this grid. So like we did an optometric one, and oblique the same way, but we're doing everything, the oblique drawing on this side, and putting everything over here. We putting front view, right view, side view in there. So we actually establishing this right here, this box by itself right here, by using dimension numbers I'm gonna give you. Again, they didn't give me any numbers, so I'm gonna give you numbers, but we're gonna lay out a grid first. So take time out right now, transfer these, make this same box. Well, don't worry about making a box. You can do two things. You can make the box, which you already know how to lay it out, that's fine. Do not put any of these marks in there or W, any of that. Just bring your box down, same like lay the box out here. And then over here, do your grid, your 1/4 inch grid. So measure around a 1/4 inch grid. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Chee-hoo.